Yes. We are here. This is a special edition of the Executives View, the view from on top, where we look down at everybody and see what we got. This is on a special request. The people want it, the fans want it, but most importantly, the villain, the serious one, and Coach himself want it. It's the SummerSlam recap show talking about the second biggest event of 2024 in the world of professional wrestling. That is SummerSlam 24. That I am the villain himself. I need everybody to feel me with no hands tonight. We're in the building. We're doing it big, real big tonight. But I don't do this by myself. I got my belt with me. Say hi to my belt. All right, people. And then, all right, but I don't do it just me in the belt. I got my boys with me in the building. My main man, Aaron Sirius Simmons is in the building. Sirius, what's going on, baby?
What's the deal, everybody? Normally, I'm the one holding the ones and twos down. I decided to give the keys to my man, Villain, man. This wrestling show is going to be off the hook. There's a lot to talk about, man. Last night's card was insane. I cannot wait to dive into this with you, gentlemen. What's up, man? How we doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. This is great. I love talking. We got into it a little bit, and I felt like, dude, the people want it, man. It was just a good vibe of us talking, so we here. I am so happy that my main man, Coach, took a break from his busy schedule of coaching, getting ready for the start of the college football season to come grace us with his presence. Coach Steve, what's up? Zach, what's up, baby?
Look. It's August. Early August is like everybody is just getting together. Week 0 will be here before you know it. Tough times in West Lafayette. Just lost a heartbreaker to Iowa earlier. Just could not convert on third down. It was like, big ups to Iowa. But it's the beauty of the 12-team playoff. We'll still be able to be in the playoff. We made the tournament. Let's get to SummerSlam. One of the best SummerSlams in recent history, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was off the hook, man. It was a great SummerSlam. The 37th annual SummerSlam. This goes back to 1987, 88, I think. The first SummerSlam. This is the 37th edition. Lots of good stuff. I love the way the card is set up now. Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, has got it really down to a science of really having the top matches at the big pay-per-views and kind of leaving. It's an accomplishment to get on live TV on a Raw or SmackDown now to do a match. But now the big shows are really where you see the stars shine one-on-one or in a tag match, what have you. So tonight was no different. Last night was no different. Saturday night. SummerSlam used to be on a Sunday. Now it's on a Saturday. It was a great show. I'll start with you, Sirius. Give me your thoughts overall. Not a match in particular, the overall card, the overall event. How would you grade it?
Honestly, if I had to give it a letter grade, with A being the best and F being horrible, I'm gonna give it a B+. And here's the thing: like for me, I felt as though every match on the card was great. There were some matches that I wanted to see. And I don't feel as though we got to see it. Like this whole Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable thing that they're gonna jump off tomorrow on Raw. That needed to be on the PLE. They've been building that for so long. So I felt as though that it was an opportunity missed. It was weird not seeing Seth Rollins in the match, but he was a guest referee and kind of got himself involved. We'll talk about that as we progress through what took place. So I felt as though Triple H and the powers that be missed the opportunity there. But overall, it was a great PLE. I was screaming from ear to ear. I felt as though they kind of cut the Braun Breaker and the Sami Zayn a little short. That was a little bit too quick for me. But at the end of the day, it was a great PLE. I think that there's a lot of stuff that they set in place to build off of, and we'll talk about that as we progress.
Absolutely. Black Zach, Coach, what do you think about last night's card? What was your overall grade?
Yeah, a B+ is right, and by B+, I mean like an 88. Like very, very close to an A. I do feel like what Paul does so great, and I say that like I personally know him like you do. You know what I'm saying? But what he does is like he has a good feel for the flow of things, you know. And I feel like when he's back there in Gorilla, you know, he still is, even while the show is going on, he's tinkering and kind of, and he's just putting together just a great overall show and a good flow to the show. Now again, with these big PLEs, you're going to have, like, you have the Miz come out and they do the little thing and Jelly Roll, all the stuff like that, and like and that's good. It's like that's fun. That's part of a big. You don't get that at just like a regular PLE. You get things like that at SummerSlam, at Survivor Series, at WrestleMania, Rumble, whatever. But yeah, just I like the order. When I saw the order of the matches, I was like, boy, Trips hit it out the park with that. Because usually you'll have, you know, a match in years past when the previous regime was in, you know, you put the not desirable matches first or whatever like that. But the fact that this started off with the women's championship match, or at least one of the women's championship matches, was fantastic. Which, like I said, we'll get into that as we go on. But overall, just the flow of the PLE was great. I didn't feel like, oh well, time to take a bathroom break. Like, I feel, you know, like, well, this match I can miss. You know, I was locked in the whole time. And it was just great. I'm getting close. Like, look, full disclosure, I don't pay for premium Peacock. I pay for base level poor man Peacock. So I don't get like the packages and stuff like that. I got to sit there and watch, like, you know, the bounty commercial like 18,000 times, whatever. But I don't care. But other than that, the show just had a real good flow to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it was funny. I was watching the event, and then I'll get into a little detail. So it was around the LA Knight Logan Paul match, and Logan Paul hits him with the elbow with the alleged steel plate, and it goes 1, 2, and then click, my power comes out. Like, power went out in the whole house. No. So I was like, wait, because nobody really kicks out of that. So I'm like, did he lose? Like, no. So I'm scrambling. I'm on my phone, getting Peacock on my phone. I'm in my car, charging my phone, watching Peacock. Then I'm upstairs in my room watching it on my phone. And my wife's like, we don't have any power, and you're on your phone. I'm like, I gotta watch this, man. I gotta watch this. You know, it was hilarious. So, you know, it was crazy. So I'm like trying like my best to watch it, but you know, I agree with you guys. Overall, I felt the show was really solid. It was one of the better shows of the night, of the year. I mean, I have it right around a B plus. I thought the Jelly Roll part was a little. I got it. You know, R-Truth is a national treasure. He must be protected at all costs. He's hilarious. Yeah, he's hilarious. He's entertaining. I thought the order of the matches is kind of like a producer putting a record together, and like how you would put Illmatic together, right? You can't start the album with Represent or It Ain't Too Hard to Tell. You got to start it with New York State of Mind, and you have to put the sequence right. And I thought the matches were great. I think having Rhea Ripley open the show, a lot of times you think the first match is like, oh, okay, I don't have to pay. But that was like a really big match to open the show and kick things off. And it's like, oh, wow, the stakes are high, you know? Yeah. So I thought it was great. I thought the order was great. I think they did a really good job with the whole show in general. So, anything else anybody want to add on that before we move on?
Well, see, I wanted to touch that one more time because I honestly felt as though the order, I thought he got the order wrong. I felt as though, if anything, I would have loved to have seen the Rhea Ripley thing. Like, I put you like this. When I watch a PLE, I like the build-up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to start up here and then come down here and then go back up here and then go down here and then end up here.
Right.
I like the build up and the way that the card fell. Now again, hindsight being 2020, but the way that the card fell, you know, Logan Paul, LA Knight probably should have kicked the damn thing off. You know, because this Rhea Ripley thing and Liv Morgan, that storyline was insane, and the action that took place in the match and everything. Or maybe Sammy versus Braun Breaker, because that match is over in 2.5 seconds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of those two could have kicked it off, and then you could have, you know, played it out the way it did. But we'll talk about the ramifications behind how all these cards went. But again, overall, I think it was a B plus, man. I think Triple H and the powers that be did a really stand up job. It's going to be very difficult to top Mania. Well, I'll put Mania at A because what happened there was just stupid. Day one and day two. But this was definitely they called it the party of the summer for a reason. And we was partying. That it was off the hook.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleveland was a great arena. It was a nice. The way they set it up was really good. It's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, right behind WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So you had to do it big. Cleveland was a great host. Great events going on. So overall, I thought the show was really good. I thought it was the matches were good. I kind of see what you're saying with some of the other guys I could have made the card, but I felt like pushing that to Raw, but really keeping this card tight and having strong matches. I think that's a good formula that Triple H has kind of found and really kind of run away with. So
one thing I would say is like I would agree with you on maybe flip-flopping the women's championship matches, maybe putting Bayley Nia first, kind of kicking things off with that. And like you said, like the build-up, but as we'll talk about, seeing what happened in that first match and the build up to another match on the card, I feel like that's why I feel like the order was perfect. Seeing what all happened. If you look at it from a 10,000-foot view, I feel like the order of it kind of helped things move along like later on in the card. So
yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah, I think the Bayley match could have got lost if it let off. That's kind of why I think having Morgan and Ripley lead off was getting the show off right. It's just like that big bang. Like, let's go. We here. We got some strong matches to get through. So,
right.
I actually kind of liked it. But obviously, the big story of the night was the return of our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. If you're a wrestling fan, you kind of felt that this was going to be the time when Roman would come back after the layoff of WrestleMania, The Rock and Roman Reigns taking a little bit of a quote unquote hiatus after Mania. The bloodline, they built it up. Triple H has done a really good job of building this up in the right way to make Sikoa strong, Tonga Brothers strong, Fatu dangerous, making it a bloodline rules match. Like all the cards were stacked against them, but then the return of Roman Reigns. So I'll get into a little bit more. Black Zach, the coach, you start us off, man. How was it when that music hit and the crowd went crazy and the tribal chief made his return to WWE television?
It is a situation where you look at it and he's coming back. I remember watching WrestleMania and I was like, well, Roman, have a good summer. We'll see you in Cleveland. And that's what that's what I said. I was like, well, get your rest, Roman. We'll see you in Cleveland. And I even thought maybe I was like with SmackDown going over to USA, I was like, we'll see him then. But then, as the solo bloodline, so to speak, and they kept bringing up Roman's name and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh well, Roman's definitely coming back at SummerSlam, And when he came out, and this is the thing that I try to explain to people: the emotion, the setting, the stage. You even if you felt like it was coming, when he finally does come out, and it's just like, okay, here we go. Yeah, it was a fantastic moment. That pop was something else. I think I might have heard. I think I might have heard a little bit of it like here in Pittsburgh from Cleveland. It was an amazing pop. He comes out and of course attacks Solo. And I know I was talking to some people leading up to SummerSlam, like, oh well, if Roman comes back, what does he do? What does he do? And I'm like, well, of course he attacks Solo, and it's not helping Cody. It is hurting Solo. So you come out, Superman punch, a beautiful Superman punch, wearing those gorgeous trophy room J's, by the way. Those beautiful trophy room Jordans. But anyway, so comes out, Superman punch, spear, Cody gets the win, the stare down, and the tribal chief is back. And even though we've all seen this kind of like bloodline civil war thing coming, it's here, boys. It is here, and I cannot wait because now we're about, especially with SmackDown about to go to USA. USA is probably like licking their chops with this now because this is what they're going to get. And with Brash Berlin at the end of the month, we're gonna get to that, and I don't think nothing really of note is gonna happen at Bash in Berlin. And no offense to like the European PLEs, but nothing really big truly happens at your Crown Jewels and stuff like that. Bad blood. Bad blood is what we should all have circled on the calendar for our even Survivor Series, where I feel like Bad Blood we might have a little appetizer, and then I think Survivor Series will have a full-on War Games type match. With old
Getting ahead of me.
new
You're
bloodline.
getting ahead of me, Coach.
You know what I'm saying? So so it's like, oh yeah. So I just you can see the table being set.
Yeah.
And it is just amazing. It's like Roman Reigns is back, and as JR used to say, business is about to pick up.
Business is about to pick up.
Go ahead, Sirius. I'll let you take it.
No, honestly, man, Coach kind of took the word out of my mouth, man. When Roman Reigns hit the stage, I was screaming. And the thing was, like, I was talking with my friends over at Nonsense and Deep Thoughts about this a couple weeks ago. Making Roman go from being a heel to a babyface. How in the world were they going to make that transition? And this was perfect how they planned this and made this happen. Now, he was the most hated dude in WWE. Now he's the most loved dude in WWE right now. Him and Cody sit at the top of this whole babyface pedestal now because now there's a common enemy. You know what I'm saying? So, the way it took place, him coming back and spearing Solo, and him kind of having this kind of moment. I don't know if you guys caught it, but there was a moment between he and Cody after he had won the match. When they was kind of staring at each other, and I don't even think it was like a testosterone beef thing. I think it was like a moment of respect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, everything that Cody and Roman's been through over the duration of that little feud to culminate and the way it did at WrestleMania, and that was the first time that they've seen each other in ring since WrestleMania. And so for them to say, what, mad respect, salute, tip to cap, Derek Jeter style. But now they're a bigger fish to fry. That, what I'm saying, what happens next? And again, I know we're gonna get into it here in a minute, but I absolutely loved it. We all knew it was coming. And I think they kind of teed it up. I mean, anyway you splice it. Roman was gonna appear at the end of that match, whether it was a 1v1, regular rules because Cody beats him clean, or if it was bloodline rules. The fact that they made it bloodline rules made it, that much easier to predict how that whole thing was gonna pan out because you knew that Randy Orton was coming back. You knew that Kevin Owens was coming out. Obviously, the rest of the bloodline was going to make their appearance, but there was a third member missing. There was a third guy missing that was going to come out to Cody's aid. Yeah, to kind of even the odds, and they kind of teed it up before the even match started. You know what I'm saying? He was talking with the gentleman backstage. There's some people in your corner, this, that, and the third, whoop-de-whoop. So again,
the gentleman, Arn Anderson.
Right, yeah.
He's not just a gentleman. That's the damn enforcer. Come on, serious. Like
I gotcha. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the way they teed that whole thing up, it was a no-brainer for me, man. I absolutely loved it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Savarsha. Yeah, he's about to have a John Cena like baby run. Well, here's the thing. I'm curious about that because you got one baby face and Cody Rhodes, who is on the John Cena trajectory, and then you got Roman Reigns coming back as a baby face. I mean, the WWE set up really, really good, and this whole bloodline thing that we're about to get into is going to be stupid, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, it reminded me years ago, I think it was at a SummerSlam when The Undertaker came back in his American Badass persona, right?
Yeah.
It was Triple H versus The Rock. It was the Iron Man match. Phenomenal match those two put on. And, Undertaker comes out with the motorcycle and annihilates DX and goes over it. But that at that point, you didn't know Undertaker was coming back. This run, I guess... fans are a lot smarter. They get the business a lot better now. So they understood that this is when Roman comes back, and the fans understand the power that they have to put these guys in a situation where they could be a face. I looked at it like this. First of all, I knew he was coming back, but the pop that he got, it just blew the roof off. And what I said to myself, what I've been saying to myself leading up to this, every Friday or every Monday leading up to this past Saturday, this is the babyface run that WWE desperately wanted Roman to have years ago, and they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it over, and they hated him. They were shoving Roman down our throats, and we hated it. It's like, you cannot tell us who to like. Now the fans know he is about to have his best run of his career. Like the head of the table run as a heel was great. It was you wanted to hate him, but he got it over so well that it was like, how can I really hate him? But I still gotta hate him. Now it's like he could be the head of the table, and I love him. So this babyface run is about to be epic. I'm here for it. I love it. It's natural. It's organic. It's not shoved down our throat. But even still, it's still him. Like when he came out, he had that look, that aura, that look on his face, right? Like he's still OTC, the only tribal chief, right? So I'm here for it. I love it. I mean, that transitions to what's going to happen next for the bloodline, because even though Sikoa took a loss, which I want to give him props. He looked he's very good. He's good in the ring. Him and Cody put on a really good match. They had a lot of run-ins with the Tonga brothers. Randy Orton came back. Kevin Owens came back. You know, they hit the stunner and the KO. They did their thing. I mean, it was awesome, right? And Sikoa had a really good match, but now you see the real tribal chief, the original tribal chief, come back. So now what's next for the bloodline, Coach? Well, Coach, you already kind of spilled the beans of where your head's at. So, Sarah, I'll double tap with you. And we'll get back to, because I 100% agree with you, Coach. I think this is where we're going. But, Sarah, give me your take on where we're going to see this storyline progress to.
I mean, honestly, it's going to come out the War Games, honestly. I think it's going to be Bloodline 2.0. I think that Jimmy's on his way back. I think he's about to show up here in the next week or two. They had to take the title off of Sami Zayn, which is why I think Braun got it done yesterday. So they had to take the title off Sami Zayn, and he and Jay are about to team up and work with Roman to kind of restore the family, so to speak. And I think that transitions into how The Rock gets himself back involved. You know, on the bloodline storyline. So it's going to be fun to watch this whole thing pan out. I mean, they got enough material here to kind of last us until probably Mania, because I don't think this comes to a head officially until Mania. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, the Tonga brothers and Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa are going to lead one end of the bloodline, and Roman, the Usos, who I think will win tag team championships off of the Tonga brothers here in the next couple weeks. I think they're going to take care of business. Sami Zayn's going to join up with his old brothers. They're going to bring back, Paul Heyman as the wise man. He's going to atone for all that. So it's going to be very busy on SmackDown and Raw with this whole bloodline thing. And again, I'm here for it all. I can't wait to see how it all shapes out. But yeah, kudos, gentlemen. This is great. This is great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're gonna see more. I think they trademarked, I think, a month ago, Caesar Sikoa. So there's more that could get into this bloodline however they want to play it, right? If they want The Rock to come back and he can team with the Uso brothers and Roman to go 4-on-4, they can bring additional brothers in or cousins. It's this whole family tree is huge. So there's a lot of different ways they can go with it, but I think we're definitely heading into Survivor Series. It's going to be a bloodline civil war. And I think I'm here for it. That's exactly what they're building. Now you just have to figure out a way, because, the Yeet Man himself has made such a name for himself in singles. I don't want them to put him back into the tag.
But has he though? Let's keep it a bean. Has he though?
I think he's done pretty well. He didn't make the card, to your point. I think he's had some good matches. He did pretty well for himself in the Money in the Bank match. So I think
He didn't
I
win the
think
damn thing though.
yeah, but
He didn't win it.
they're building him to that point where he can be a singles guy. If he wants to go back to the tag realm, okay, it'd be good to see him, the original brothers tag team champs, that one of the most decorated tag team champs, to go against the Tonga brothers. I just want them to be careful that they don't make it like a step back for him. You know what I mean? Keep progressing him forward. But it's coming. It's the Tonga brothers versus the Usos. It's got to be Sikoa versus Roman, and then Fatu versus whoever they want to put in that spot. If the Rock wants to come back, if they get another brother or another cousin to come in, like Caesar or somebody, anybody that they think of.
It'll be Sammy.
We'll see. I hope they don't do that. I really hope they don't do that. I hope they really keep it with a pure bloodline Civil War, like family. But we'll see. We'll see if how they want to score, how they want to do with Jay, and how they want to get that, because you got to have 4. I think it's 5 nowadays, so they might have to add a couple. You're right. It might be Sammy. You never know. But they got to. I think right now, I think you have one more match with Cody, and then you got to move Cody into another feud, and then bring the Civil War together. So, Coach, what do you think is going to happen with the Bloodline?
Yeah, like I said earlier, kind of tipped my hand a little bit. Like, I feel like this is all headed toward Survivor Series and War Game match. I agree with what you just said. I was just going to say that, like, we got to kind of put Cody to the side, which is weird to say. We have to put the champion to the side, because
in this storyline,
in the storyline, it's just like you have the champion in the midst of this, but he's not needed. He's definitely not needed in this. Is like you have helped push the storyline along to where now Cody can go on to something else, and now we focus on the bloodline things. And I look at it, it's like bring Sammy back, and with Jay's white hot. He is about as over as somebody is.
He's over
the business, not even just WWE. He's about as over as anybody is in the whole business. And I feel like putting him back with his brother, while it makes sense for the whole bloodline thing, for the tag titles and stuff like that, I feel like Jay has become his own man. And to reel that in, I feel like would be a big misstep. I feel like you just let Jay be Jay, and when Jimmy comes back, and Jimmy is just Jimmy, and if they join forces, fine. But I have to feel like Jay has done enough. There's a reason why he didn't win Money in the Bank. There's a reason why they didn't put the title on, because this has to be something where it's like he has to be free. This is like, again, I think to a lesser extent, this is why Sammy might have lost last night, because maybe you bring him into the bloodline, even he's the honorary Usos, but again, it's like, again, it's just you bring him in, and then so you can kind of even the odds. And there's always a Tongan or Samoan around the corner.
Oh, definitely.
There's always one. There's always one lurking in the weeds somewhere. So we'll see that as the storyline progresses. And my biggest thing is The Rock. That's a big wild card in this, because we talked earlier about how I remember that night in Philly when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. And we talk about the pop that he got in Cleveland last night. The boos in Philly that night were just as loud, because it was like he's not. I heard from people all over. He's not ready. He's not ready. We don't want this. Who wants this? Who's asking for this? It's like, we don't want this. And now you fast forward years later, and we want it. And now is the time for it. We want more and more and more of Roman. But what I think happens is, what you have a situation where something that they wanted this Rock and Roman match at WrestleMania.
That's
okay.
That's happening. That's happening.
So we have the Bloodline Civil War, all is well and good and everything like that. And then guess who shows up at the Royal Rumble? The good old final boss. So I feel like this is where it's like the fans kind of hijacked the original plans for Roman and Rock. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in Vegas.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get it in Vegas, and the build up to that, and then that will even bring the bloodline angle to another level, because then Rock will probably align himself. They'll probably be like, "Oh well, I was behind the second bloodline all along. I'm the final boss." And so then we'll have that. It's like the Rock was the mastermind behind the second, Bloodline 2.0, and then that'll cause a big stir. And then WWE will finally get their Rock Roman match in Allegiant Stadium, Vegas. It's going to be amazing. I feel like that's where this is going to go. And like I said, seeing how we get to that, I feel like that is the end of the story.
That's the story. Yeah.
That's the end of the story. But I'm excited to see how we get there.
Absolutely. And I as you guys were talking about, and you just brought it up, Coach, you make a great point. The fans turned on The Rock in that Roman match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And The Rock embraced it by becoming the final boss. You can't mess that up by bringing him back automatically as a face, because Roman's the face.
No. Yeah. He has to make a heel. Yeah. He
has to stay the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
He has to stay the heel.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to do that is to flip him, put him on the team at Survivor Series with Roman, flip him, and be like, I'm the reason why there's the Bloodline 2.0. You think you're the tribal chief, I'm the final boss.
I don't think he goes on the team with Roman. I think he goes on the team with Solo.
No, I think eventually that's where you get to, but I think you have to have that swerve. I think you have to have that swerve, like, I'm with you, and then.
Do you though? Because ultimately, at the end of this is how I look at it. This is how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? So Roman does all this work leading up to Survivor Series, 4 games, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, The Rock shows up and reveals that Solo was carrying out his particular orders. Solo ordered the knockout of Paul Heyman. Not Solo, but Rock ordered the knockout of Paul Heyman. The Rock ordered all these things that Solo's been doing to be done, which pisses off Roman.
Right.
Because they're supposed to be brothers. That's how we can get to Mania, because then there's a direct shot. You don't have to swerve this. It's a direct line.
Okay. I mean, there's 2 ways to do it, and I think you're right. Like, keeping him final boss just keeps him final boss. And either way, we get Rock, we get Roman, you get money. That's a big.
But I do have a question though. What in the world is Cody going to be doing while this whole bloodline thing is simmering?
Cody?
Who's coming for Cody now?
I think if you look at Raw, you got 5 guys that can get to the top, right? You got,
but he's on SmackDown.
No, that's what I mean. I think you move one of them to SmackDown, especially with SmackDown going to USA. I think you move one. I don't know which one you do. I'm not sure if you do. You can't do Seth. You got to keep him face because he's a strong face. Mm-hmm. I think maybe you move McIntyre, move him to SmackDown and have him feud with Cody, because he went over on CM Punk. But you got Priest, you got Gunther, you got Punk, you got Seth, and you got McIntyre. 5 guys that can main event for that heavyweight title. One of them, not all of them can do it. I think you move one of them over, because Cody had to feud with AJ Styles, who I love. I think AJ Styles is great, but after Mania to get a couple matches on a pay-per-view, like, I don't know if there's a strong guy after.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't think that, again, in order for this to be believable, okay?
Yeah.
He has to feud with somebody that could legitimately beat him clean. Okay, without bloodline rules, without, the only other person that I think can beat him clean, quote unquote, and again, Savarsha mentioned it, my sis Stacy mentioned it, is Randy Orton.
But do you want to turn him heel? Do you want to do that? I mean, there's not much for him to do other than be Cody's bodyguard, but do you want to turn him heel?
I mean, but Randy Orton is comfortable in that role.
He is.
Because
but do we want to see him in that role right now?
He's the Viper. It's like Randy Orton has reached a point in his career where it's like he's just Randy Orton. So nobody would be like, oh no, how can Randy? Because he's the Viper.
He's the
He
Viper,
could
right?
so it's like he could just do this whenever. And I do believe that like Randy Orton would be great because but I think, and the whole John Cena farewell tour is looming. I think Randy needs something to do until he gets into that.
So,
And I think a little mini feud with Cody, especially with, like I said, I hate to keep glossing over Bash in Berlin. I'm sure it's going to be great, and I'm sure the fans in Germany are going to be epic. Like the international crowds have been crazy, like from France and Glasgow. The international fans have been crazy, so I don't expect anything different from the fans in Berlin. But the next big pay-per-view is Bad Blood, and my beautiful wife, who was in the other room, actually mentioned it the other day. Like, you know what? Randy Orton and Kevin Owens have been getting beat up behind Cody Rhodes
for a while.
For months. And it wouldn't be out of bounds to be like Randy, like, you know what? I got beat up, like trying to protect you. I got beat up and I got, attacked by the bloodline, and you brung me into this or whatever like that. So then it could be like now Orton, because he feels some kind of way, hits Cody with an RKO at Bash in Berlin or whatever happens, whatever like that. And then we set up Bad Blood, and then Metro Boomin is there and everything like that, and everything's great, But like it is. I feel like that's where we go with Cody. I would love Drew McIntyre, but I think Drew McIntyre.
He's tied up with that CM Punk thing.
This
yeah,
again,
I think there's another. Isn't that program still going? You got to keep.
Yeah, I honestly say going on 2 to 3 more matches. Honestly.
Well, again, it's like talking about bad blood. We will probably get something at the end of the month, and then I feel like, and I've said this to a bunch of people, and I'll say it here on there. I feel like that feud is tailor made for a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood.
Yeah, it's coming.
That's what we get the payoff.
It's coming because I think the next match is probably no DQ or something like that, and then it's either
I Quit match or something like that.
It's either an I Quit match or Hell in a Cell match, and I think those two can pull off a Hell in a Cell match. I think Drew McIntyre is very underrated. I think he can pull it off. So, and that was a really good match. It was a really good back and forth. It reminded me of SummerSlam in '97 with Taker, Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels, who I got back here. Shawn Michaels, HBK legend. But it reminded me of that when Shawn was a special guest referee, and Seth did such a great job of telling the story of, here I am in the middle, you're not. It was great. It was great.
The storytelling in that match was damn near perfect. Like CM Punk, who like Drew McIntyre had been the one who couldn't check his emotions. It's like it cost him the title, it cost him the match, it cost him everything. And then to see Punk being the one who couldn't keep his emotions in check, and it cost him the match. To see like now it's back on him to where it's like now you're the irrational one. You act like you're the old KG veteran who can keep who can keep it together, and then you lost your cool last night. So I feel like that's another layer on this program that I love that they added in last night. And like I said, Paul's been doing his thing with this long-term storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely, and we always get a payoff. I think everyone has had their payoff. So, I want to flip to I want to get back to CM Punk because that was a really good match too. We can talk about that in a minute. But I definitely want to talk about the implosion of the Judgment Day, right? I think that was really shocking from the beginning of the show. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley had a really good match. Dirty Dom pulled the swerve. I didn't see it coming. So as a guy that's been doing wrestling for a while, I did. I was like, I don't know if they're going to do it, but I kind of got the hint a little bit when there was that kind of pushback that you're mine, right? And Rhea had to check him, and it's like, well, I could do whatever I want with Morgan, and you make me kind of your baby, your bitch over here. You know what I mean? So
it's like Liv bought him a PS5, man. Like, I mean,
and the college football game to go with it. So it's like, that was a really good swerve. Dirty Dom getting Morgan, and then Balor putting the foot on the rope. It was a solid match. It was solid storytelling, and I kind of didn't like that the referees had to tell us that Damian was in trouble. Like Damien didn't it was just slaps going back and forth, and it was just like, come on, bring it. And then it was like the announcers had to kind of guide you to that point of where it was going. That kind of bugged me, but it was still a strong match. Gunther really kind of at the end, he kind of looked like he was not going to lose that match, right? But either way, Balor turned on Damian Priest, who I thought Priest was a solid champ. I liked the decision to get the belt off him. I think it was a little rushed because of the injuries that kind of happened with Seth. Seth had the injury up at WrestleMania. Punk wasn't available. That was the match that they wanted, and they kind of had to rush Priest into the top spot. He kind of fumbles with the mic a little bit, so I think it was good to get him there, but I think it'll be a better road to get him back there. But either way, talk to me about the Judgment Day, Coach. What did you think about the eventual? It looks like the end of the Judgment Day as we know it.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where Damian Priest had been getting a little bit too comfy putting his hands on Finn Balor.
Yes,
and it had been a build up for weeks. It had been a build up. The whole stuff with Liv and the room key and everything like that. And it's like you could kind of see the seeds being planted.
Yeah.
It wasn't Finn hitting him with a coup de grace. It was just something as simple as just putting Gunther's foot on the rope to just like, you know what? I'm not even going to touch you. I'm going to do something psychologically to you. I'm going to cost you this match. I'm not going to hit you, and again, Priest, I like the touch of him looking up at the scoreboard to see what Finn Balor did. I thought that was a nice touch. There's something like utilizing your environment, instead of just like, I thought that was a very nice touch with Priest looking up at the big board to see what happened. And yeah, the Judgment Day had a bad night. They had a real bad night from the beginning with Rhea. It's just like now I wonder moving forward, and then we'll see tomorrow. This is a good thing about this all being on Raw. We don't have to wait until next Friday. We get to see tomorrow what happens. What will happen is Liv now. Is she bringing Finn with her, and then she has Dom, and are they starting a new thing? Is it a new Judgment Day? I mean, Carlito just got there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Carlito, Carlito did all this to get into the Judgment Day. Now Judgment Day go, which again, we talk about national treasures, like protect Carlito at all costs.
I'm so happy he's back. So happy he's back. I love him.
But the thing with Carlito is, I wanted to see him as a face. I hate him as a heel right now.
I mean, either way, I'm just glad that he's back because I go a long way back with him when he was, a heel coming up, and he just blew it. Like he got lazy, and to see him back in the that's not cool. That's not cool. Like I just love it. I just love it that he's back. So.
Yeah. I love that he's back, and I just see fashions break up and get back in the history of wrestling. You've had 17 different horsemen. You've had DX breaks up and it gets back together. Like I don't think this might be the end of the Judgment Day for now, or the end of the Judgment Day as it was. But I don't think the Judgment Day is over.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's over. I think you have to break. Damien was too big for Judgment Day, the way they built him up. Not that he was bigger than the group. Rhea's bigger than the group. Like let's be honest. She's bigger than the group. And I think the way they were positioning Damien, like, oh, I don't need you guys. You guys hang here. I got to do this on my own. Like he was positioned to be bigger than the group. So now you probably have the Judgment Day, but it's going to be Finn and company. Not Rhea's going to break out on her own. And maybe Dom and Morgan, maybe they come into who knows? They figure that out. But like I said, and serious, I'll let you go on this. To me, Rhea is bigger than the group, and she does not need to be in the Judgment Day. I would love to see her on her own doing her thing because she's amazing. So she's that one. She's like the man 2-3 years ago. So
here's the thing though. Like, I get your point, and I do believe that Rhea is gonna do her own thing. But she did her own thing as the leader of the Judgment Day anyway. Like, being the leader
right,
of the Judgment Day or the face of the Judgment Day didn't stop her from winning the Women's Championship. She did
right,
that. Being the leader of Judgment Day didn't stop her from getting involved and holding the title for as long as she's held it. She's beat Nia Jax. She's beat what's her face? The man,
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. She beats Becky Lynch. She won the title off of Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
So I mean, she's had these tremendous feuds and has overcome 90% of them as a Judgment Day. So, but again, I think she's ready for more. I think Damian Priest goes off and does something else. I can't wait to see what happens with he and Finn Balor now. I'm not sure if they create a Judgment Day 2.0, since we're in this 2.0 thing, with the bloodline. But that feud and that beef, especially talking about Bad Blood coming up, is going to be insane, because now you have a divide. You have a clear divide of what's going on.
Sure.
So what's Carlito going to do? Where's Dom going to go? Is he and Liv Morgan going to form, like you alluded to, is he and Liv Morgan going to form some type of, faction of their own? So there's so many different storylines and so many different possibilities. But with the fall of the Judgment Day, it's a sad day. It's a sad day, because I mean, they have literally carried a good portion of the WWE for a good portion of time.
On Raw, absolutely.
And on Raw. And again, my homegirl Stacy mentioned that there's been rumors that he's kind of looking at Liv. So with the whole thing with Dom now allegedly dating Liv, that whole Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley thing isn't dead neither. Let's keep it a whole bean.
No, that's going on.
But now does Dom, have a feud brewing with Finn because he said something disrespectful to his lady, and they go back and forth. Clearly, Damian Priest is coming after Finn Balor. So there's so many different ways that they can take this now. I hate to see it end, but I'm curious to see, like we alluded to a couple segments ago, where it goes from here, man. There's so many different ways that Triple H and the people can take this, but wow.
There's a lot of good avenues, right? Because Liv said, I want to take everything that you have, Rhea. I took your title, I took your man. Why not take her faction? Take the Judgment Day. Right. So that could be next on deck too. So it's going to be interesting to see how they position this, but I think it had to be done. I really, like I said, I love Rhea. I think she can do her own thing, stand on her own 2 feet. It was a shame that she had got hurt when she did a couple months back, and it was just a freak thing. I think she was destined for big things, so it's going to be good to see her where she goes. Damian, I wouldn't mind. I would want probably a match or two with Balor, and then move him to SmackDown. Put him on SmackDown. Put him over there. Let him shine. Let him get into a nice feud with Cody. Maybe turn him heel. Do something like that. Maybe that'll work. But I think Damian, I think he's gotta you gotta let him fly on his own, and you gotta see if he has it, if he can do it on his own. I think his mic work is getting better. I think it could do with a little bit of tweaking. I think a lot of guys read off a script. There's not a lot of guys that can kind of just fly off their cuff like we used to in the day. They had to have their notes, but I think Damian needs to get fed a lot. I want to
on their wrist like The Rock, right?
Yeah, right on your wrist, right? But I think
I would love Damian to have a mouthpiece.
Yes,
I would love for him to get someone to, Paul Heyman,
bounce off of.
Yeah, but somebody to bounce off of, and just somebody to kind of help him along with talking and stuff. And funny enough, somebody in the Judgment Day fashion, like Carlito, is fantastic on him. When he gets an opportunity, when he would get an opportunity to speak back in the day, like Carlito was very good on the mic. He was very good on the mic. So it's, again, this is all new for Damian Priest. It's like I love his story. I love everything about some of it. But yeah, he needs to kind of go away and kind of do his own thing. Like I said, I don't think this. Like I said, fashions break up, come back together, do all this all the time. I could see like this just kind of being the Judgment Day kind of going apart and then maybe coming back together. But yeah, like I love all the options that you could have with this storyline. Like I said, I can't wait for Raw tomorrow.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I agree with you. I think I don't know if you could get Paul Heyman to do it because I'm pretty sure he's going to be bloodline feuded up.
Oh, of course,
but you need somebody like that can kind of walk him through and kind of get him going. So talk to me, boys, about. We can talk about any part of the card. What was your favorite match of the night? What was the match? And I'll start with you, Coach. What was the match that you were just like, chef's kiss?
Punk and Drew. Punk and Drew was just, like I said, the storytelling, just like the build up. Just all three of these guys have an agenda. All three of these guys have history.
Yeah.
Look. I don't think it was a work. That might have been a little bit of a shoot, the kind of standoff between Rollins and Punk, and I don't think that was a 100% like a work. I think there was some shoot feelings in that ring with that, because we all know, like, that's not kayfabe. Those guys feeling about each other. They really don't really rock with each other like that. But like again, CM Punk. He says it and people kind of smirk. He is one of the best to ever get in the ring. It's just like the moves, the way he can control a match and call a match. Drew McIntyre, he was always like if this guy can just put it all together, and he's put it all together. And Drew McIntyre is a legit superstar. And you have Seth Rollins in there who played his role perfectly. It's like you don't want to get too involved, but then you get involved at the right time. And he's wearing a bracelet, and that and it's like he's doing his job as a referee. He's not trying to interfere in the match. And I just felt like the build up for that match. I felt like that match delivered. It was a fantastic match. I loved it. I just want to touch on Bayley and Nia Jax real quick. You talk about people who have been through things, and Nia Jax, and they alluded to it in the press conference. I watched the post PLE pressers too. And she wasn't in the company last year, and now she is a champion. And for her for where she was at, future endeavored, and Barry, you hear those two words, it's like that.
I still say it to this day.
It's like she got future endeavored. She went on the indie circuit. Kind of like fine-tuned her craft, got better at her craft, comes back, has been like the unstoppable force, and wins. And we have to watch this stuff out with Tiffany, what I'm saying, because it's like that alliance is only gonna last for so long, and I love the build up with that. And you take the belt off of Bayley because you build that up, and like eventually it's like it's gonna be, because look, Tiffany came out there to cash in last night.
Yes, she did.
Or did she?
See, Tiffany came up there to cash in last night. But again, talking about that, I do want to say big ups to Bayley. Bayley's just a consummate professional. She gets the business. She knows, she doesn't let her ego get in the way. She knows that there are bigger things and that the business is bigger than her. She just goes out there, and I feel like Bayley is super underrated. She just goes out there, does her job. She gets it. She understands that Nia having the title, and then the things with Tiffany are bigger than anything that she can do. And then Bayley will always be good. It's like with Bayley, Becky, Sasha, now Monet, and and Charlotte, the four horsewomen. She is one of the women who got women's wrestling to where it is now. To where it's like it's not just it's no longer like the divas, and I used to always hate that. It's like the divas, and they come out and and it's like they're actually really in there, they were in there going at it last night, and I love the fact that the women get their shine. One last thing I want to say is Logan Paul can go, which is it's frustrating almost. The kid is a natural. He can go. And the fact that he has taken to the business in such a short time in the way he has is just natural to him. And LA Knight, a guy who's been around the block a time or two, for them, they put on a hell of a match that is getting overlooked in just the, look at that. That was just that's crazy. It's just, it's just, They put on a hell of a match. I want to say I think this program has run its course. I could see maybe one more match, but I feel like okay, Logan Paul's gonna go and do his YouTube stuff and do his whatever he does with up there, and then LA Knight moving forward. Let's see what he does with it. I think that was a good way to end their little to do. But like, yeah, man, it's like Logan Paul is so good, and it is just it's almost frustrating that he's so good. I couldn't let this show end without saying that because it's like people want to talk about him and stuff. It's like he clearly is putting in the work. He clearly is. He understands the business. He understands what's going on. It's like he talks all that. He's a perfect heel because a lot of it is just his own personality. He's not acting.
He's him.
he's just being him. He's a natural heel. But the fact that he's not just one of these guys who are just coming in and just like no just with the Jello, but like doing what Jelly Roll did last night, hit whatever like that. He's actually good. I hate to say it, he's actually good at this. It's just like it's crazy.
It's frustrating because I can't stand him, but I can't not respect him because he does put on solid matches. Like he doesn't defend enough. He doesn't wrestle enough, which I'm happy they got the belt off of Logan Paul and gave it to LA Knight because LA Knight deserves it. This guy shouldn't be in a SummerSlam match for the U.S. title, but he's worked so hard to get over. The fans take to him, and here he is. Like for me, like his gimmick is too gimmicky. For me,
it's a gimmicky gimmick. Yeah, it's a
gimmicky
with
gimmick.
Everybody saying,
I love it though. I love it though.
I mean, for me, it's just like it's too much of Stone Cold and The Rock morphed together, and it's like I don't get what people like about it. I get it. It's over, so I'm not stupid, but I'm like, he's all right. Like, he's like, it's not like the next coming of The Rock. Like everybody kind of wanted it to be, but like to say that in that breath, but to not think that he doesn't deserve a run at this title. I mean, this guy should be on NXT. You know what I mean? And he worked his behind off to get to this point. And like I said at the beginning of the show, to have a match on a pay-per-view now is a privilege. It's not a right. You know what I mean? So to get to that point, he deserves it. And Logan Paul put on a hell of a show. He's a spot guy, but his spots are really good. And it's just like, wow. So
here's the thing with Logan Paul. I want to see what he does clean. Like it seems like every time he's involved in a match, those brass knuckles come into play. And that's how that's his gimmick. That's how he survives matches. The thing that kind of made Roman Reigns one of the most hated heels of his time was the fact that every time he got in trouble, he got outside interference and got outside help. So I think Logan Paul is a great performer, but he always needed some outside help to get himself involved. So again, it was one crazy run. I don't think this story is over, to be honest with you. I think he stays in the business for another couple PLEs. But to kind of come full circle to give my favorite match of the card, because that's where we were going with it. I wanted to say the Drew CM Punk thing. But unfortunately, I gotta go with Cody Solo. For everything that thing represented. Now again, Cody and Solo was great. Drew and Punk was great, but the culmination, the payoff, what we all expected, lived up to it. Like there was no way in the world that we sitting on our tables thought that Cody was losing this match. There was no way. But the fact that Roman came out, and let's keep it a beam, Solo put on one hell of a performance. You know what I'm saying? He
looked very strong.
He looked very good there. Even before the interference came into play. So I need to tip my cap to him. Looking through the rest of the card, Nia versus Bayley, that hurt my heart. I love Bayley so much, so that hurt my heart. But I understand the business. Damian Priest versus Gunther could have been a nominee because of all the implications. And again, Steve, you alluded to it a little bit ago. Priest has put his hands on Finn Balor one too many times. And so,
little bit,
hands off me.
Little bit too comfortable, man. He got a little bit too comfortable putting his hands on, man.
The fact that thing took place before that match, again, and then they kind of squashed it or whatnot. Yeah. It didn't shock me that this was coming. The Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan thing, another stand-up match. But I had to, if I had to rank them all, Cody and Solo had to get my top spot. Honestly, I felt as though it was very well done. All parties involved did their job to a T. And it bleeds into a whole nother slew of matches that we can't wait to see. Like the aftermath of what took place in that match is going to feed families for years to come, PLEs to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing I could definitely say, there wasn't a bad match on this card. There was every match lived up to the hype, and that's what you need from a pay-per-view. Like, you cannot have a bad match at a pay-per-view. So I felt like every match lived up to the hype. I loved watching Nia get that dub, just because she, if we go back to the days of Divas, she wouldn't have been in that class of divas. She wouldn't have looked like a diva. And Coach, you brought up a great point where she was future endeavored. And I still use that term to this day. I'll never stop using the term future endeavored. I wish you the best on your future endeavors type thing. Shout out to my boy Andy. But she to come from that to where she is now, she absolutely deserves it. And she can look like an immovable object at this point if they position her pretty well. I would love to see Charlotte come back and challenge her. I don't know if she's ready, but that would be awesome. I would like to kind of see. I know what they're doing with Bianca and Kate and Jade, but I'd love to see a Jade Nia Jax match. Wouldn't you love to see that?
Oh,
that
of course, we like
that would be fun. So I would love to see those two go at it, but I don't know if I think they're going to wait a year to put Jade in that singles realm and really challenge those ladies for a belt. I love the two that they're building up, the women's tag title division, and those two are really strong. They had to get the belts off them because they were too strong. So I think what they were doing was really smart. But I liked the story that they told with Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. I like how they positioned Breaker to still be strong. Sami was a good champion. I think it was a good decision to give the belt to Braun Breaker because they built him up so well and they built him up strong. So, and I agree with you too, Sirius, that I like the way that they position Solo to still look strong, right? Like they built him up as a big threat to Cody, and they didn't let him lose that momentum to go down, right? But as you bring up the Braun Breaker, I like him. He's a freak athlete. He is his father and his uncle combined. He is Scott and Rick combined.
I said to somebody the other day, I was like, it's wild how it's like he is his uncle and his dad just in one big Steiner machine, so it's like crazy.
He is a young Scott Steiner, but the brute strength of Rick Steiner. Right, like when Scott had the long brown hair with the Michigan jacket in WCW, that was him. So I love that. I love watching him. I love to see where it goes from here. I think you give Sammy a return match at Bad Blood, and then you let Braun do his own thing. Maybe that's how you position Sammy to go back into the bloodline. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, absolutely, the match of the night. CM Punk is such a good storyteller in the ring. And Drew is very underrated. He was that chosen one years ago from Vince. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I think a lot was heaped on him at a young age. And he wasn't ready for it. Now it's like night and day. He's ready for it. He's really in that position. And you put another guy that understands the business, right? And Seth freaking Rollins understands the business, right? He's really smart. So you put those three guys in the mix and you say, make magic. And that's exactly what you got. So now you have not only you position Drew in a good part because Punk has been messing with him for months. Now Drew got the win, and the storyline can still continue because he has the bracelet, all that good stuff. But now you have a triple threat element to it. Once Seth is kind of he's more healthier and can get into the mix. Now you got those three guys going at each other, possibly with a title at stake or a title match at stake. So I like where they're going with that. So
see, here's the thing with that though.
Mm-hmm.
Seth is not going to challenge Gunther because he made a point. He made a deal with Priest to not challenge Priest until he didn't have the title. Now Priest doesn't have the title, so I think Seth is going to mess with Gunther to get the title and leave these two to their own devices.
It could be. I would like that, but I do. Do you think Seth would let it lie that Punk gave him the go to sleep? You know what I mean? What do you think? I don't think so. So it's a possibility. I feel you, but you have a window. You have a lane to go down if you wanted to. But the Punk McIntyre program is not over by a long shot. I'm here for it because now it's physical. Those two can get in the match, tell a story, and it's gonna be really, really nice. So I'm really excited to what happens on Raw and SmackDown this week. You guys got anything on Raw and SmackDown that you want to see, how you want it to play out? I mean, obviously Friday night is going to be huge for me. I think that you have to open the show with the tribal chief. And he has to talk. He has to address it. What I would love to have happen is the show opens. My name is Paul.
That's exactly how
the one true tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and then he comes out, and then they go at it, and they talk, and then the place is gonna just go crazy.
Oh yeah, when he says my tribal chief.
For the OT, Stacy's absolutely right. For the for the OTC, the tribal chief, right? Like that's how you got to open the show. Coach, what do you think?
So we've talked about it like a couple times where it's like Raw opens up a bunch of different ways. You have a new champion on your show. I can see that. I can see Gunther coming out there and just talking his trash like he called Damian Priest and everybody street trash. It's just like like Gunther was cutting everybody up. It's just
bad.
I could see your champion coming out there, but I think because it is probably one of the 2 or 3 hottest stories in wrestling in the business. You start Raw off with the Judgment Day fallout and everything like that. I'm sure you're gonna have Liv and Dom come out there, and they will not be able to speak. That crowd is going to be on their ass. They won't be able to get a word in edgewise. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be it is going to be those fans are going to be all riled up. So that's definitely how you start off Raw. Going on to Friday, If the first voice I don't hear on Friday is Paul Heyman's voice, I'd be a little disappointed. But but I feel like we're going to hear Roman's music. And look, we talked about like how maybe Priest needs somebody. Like Roman Reigns has come a long way with his mic work, to where while Heyman's the wise man, like Roman Reigns can go out there and talk on his own. So I feel like Roman to come out there, and of course, while he's in the middle of his promo, we hear Kingdom. Cody Rhodes comes out, and then they have like their standoff. So I think that's how we start things out on SmackDown, because Cody Rhodes is going to have some questions for Roman Reigns, I'm sure. So this should be an interesting week. And like I said, once again, big ups to Trips, like just the storytelling, the flow of the pay-per-view last night. Everything was great. Just moving forward, they have there's a quick turnaround for another pay-per-view at the end of the month. So I just I don't think we're gonna get into it. Just kind of like after Mania, we had to cool down a little bit, and it's like big ups to AJ Styles. Like AJ Styles was like the perfect guy to come in there and kind of like be like the cool down, if you will. So I don't know what they're gonna do with this, because we're not going to go right into the bloodline, all that stuff like that now for Berlin. So I'm anxious to see where we go. Like Gunther will come out there, and I'm anxious to see if it's Drew or who comes out there and like kind of like steps to Gunther, because they're going to have a match.
I think Damian will. I think Damian
will get his rematch. I think Finn Balor will screw him at some point, and then that's how you're gonna do it. And I think Cody. I think on SmackDown you'll have a number one contenders like either tournament or fatal 4-way or something to get the number one contender, and then that's probably how it goes there. But I agree with you. I think Paul and the crew, they did a great job of setting this table, and now you have an infinite bunch of possibilities where it can go. I just know one thing: when Roman hits and he says, because where is it taking? Where is Raw taking place this week? It's not Raw. I mean SmackDown. SmackDown is I can't even remember where it is.
Let me check.
Man,
but
I usually have that stuff like
I usually have. I had it, and I was looking at Raw real quick, and my fault. My people. I apologize.
Baltimore, Maryland. It's in Maryland. It's up the street from me.
It's in Maryland. So, maybe you should get some tickets.
I may be going tomorrow.
Yeah, the very.
Hey, Stacy, hit my line. We going.
The very calm, sensible, laid back people of Baltimore. Yeah, we all.
Yeah, very calm, very sensible, reasonable people. Reasonable people. But you know what I'm going with this. It's like when he comes out and he says, Baltimore, acknowledge me, and the place is gonna go absolutely bonkers. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be so awesome. And if anybody deserves it more, it's him, because he has taken a hard road to get where this point, and he's carried the business for a long time. Like, there's a lot of pitfalls with him. Like, I felt like he should have broke the streak for Undertaker. I felt like he should have had a really good run, and then COVID hit. He was about to really have a good run. And then, even with the whole, head of the table, it's been a really good run. It's been a heel run. Now he deserves this time to shine and he's always drawn the money. He's always had the main event, but now it's going to be like that kind of adoration that he always deserved. And one thing that did surprise me, and then I'll end the show here, is that John Cena didn't make an appearance. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm sure he's going to be up pretty soon. He's going to be around in getting his farewell tour. Another guy that deserved it. I know we've talked about that on other shows. So we'll see where he fits in. Maybe it's with Randy, getting a quick program with him. That feud was always epic. So that
he has to.
Those two.
He has to.
Yeah. One last time, those two have to dance. One last time. So we missed out on a Rock Triple H last dance. So hopefully we get that with Randy and John. But anything you guys want to add before we head on out of here? Great show, man. Had a lot of fun talking some WWE, and hopefully we could do more shows like this. Sirius, what do you got for me, brother?
You know what? I think, honestly, the way Raw kicks off tomorrow, I honestly think it's going to start with this whole Judgment Day thing. But I don't think it's going to be Rhea Ripley or Liv Morgan. I think Damian Priest comes down first and addresses the whole thing. I think he may try to get Gunther to give him a rematch, but I think he's going to address this whole Finn Balor thing. And then later on, I think the whole, Rhea Ripley thing will happen. On SmackDown, I think everybody alluded to it. After that music hits, ladies and gentlemen, my name, it's going to be stupid. It's going to be. I'm sitting here in Virginia. I swear to goodness, y'all going to hear me from VA because it's fitting. It's so fitting. And then Roman comes down, does his thing. I think in the middle of his promo or middle of him talking, Solo will come out. They'll be face to face. If Solo does what he said. He's going to try to get Roman Reigns to acknowledge him. Roman ain't going to do that. There's going to be
and he better get his beads back too, right? He better get his
the necklace back.
Yeah. So there's going to be some fisticuffs going on, and boom, Bloodline's going to come out. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait for it. the program.
I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Speaking of the bloodline, real quick, man. I hope Jacob Fatu is all right. You know,
oh my god.
Like,
that knee.
Good grief, man. Because that guy is amazing, and he is a force of nature. And to be his size and be able to move the way he can move, and it's just so effortless, in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's like I saw some pictures online this morning of him in a walking boot. So I mean, again, it's just like, oh man, I hope
rest up, King. Rest up.
I hope Jacob's all right, because he is going to be a key piece of this, bloodline story moving forward as Solo's enforcer, and then I hope Jacob's all right. So big ups to the homie Jacob. Hope he's all right, because he's going to be a big piece of this bloodline thing. And the last thing I just want to say is this was fun. It's always fun to sit up here and chop it up with you guys and chop it up about like sports entertainment. You know what I'm saying? It's like
what up, Unc? What up, Unc?
Yeah, exactly. I just want to say it's like this. I want to let you guys. I'm gonna pull back the curtain, so to speak. You know what? Hey guys, people who got something to say. We know it's predetermined.
We know.
We don't care.
This is what we do. We're the executives. We understand. We're talking about the business of this sport. Like like I'll get here and talk about the gate that these guys are bringing in, the money that they made last night from a really strong gate. Like that's what the executives here. That's what we do. So
57,000.
It's entertainment.
They got more people in there for some Browns games. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That place was packed out. Paul Brown's fading may not have been packed out for the Browns. Let me stop.
Nope, not even. Yeah,
we'll talk about it on Tuesday. Yeah,
exactly. We'll get to that. But that's what we do, man. And we know it's entertainment. We know it's fun, but it's a business too, and I love the business angle of it. Obviously I worked there for years, so I've seen it from all angles. To see. I'll tell you, to see Roman come out with a new shirt, I know that shirt was going like hotcakes at the stadium, because I know the guys that's fill the shelves. And shout out to my boys Ricky and Pug, all my boys out there, Jimmy, everybody that does the venue sales. I know they had a fun one getting that new shirt, because it's like you can't put it out. They won't put the shirt out until because you can't show that your hand that he's going to be there. So after the show, it's the place is packed at all the lines out the door at the booth to get the new shirt, and I bet you it's sold out that night. So
I got a couple of those shirts on the way already. I got one for me, one for the wife, and one for the baby. So already on the way, because it was before the pay-per-view was even over, my wife is like let's go ahead and order them shirts up. So it's
exactly.
Sarasha was on it.
Surprise! Yeah, exactly. Shop. We did the same thing. I'd be working the pay-per-view at night. I'd have to. That was how I used to get all the pay-per-views. I had to be, hey, listen, this is for work, so I would expense it. I'd watch the pay-per-view, and then when somebody would debut a new shirt that I knew was coming out, I'd have to hit the button, put it online, put it live, and then we had the masthead to take over on the shop to make sure that the shirt was on there, especially Cena, because Cena was good for that. John was good for coming out with a new shirt, and you better not put that shirt up before he came out, because John would be pissed, and if John got pissed,
you can't mess with that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't mess with the money. So shout out to those boys. They work really hard in doing their thing. So I'm good. I'm ready to call it. What a great show, dude. I love doing this. This was like a last minute thing, but SummerSlam was so awesome. I was like, we got to get on here and talk about it and not be interrupted by Uncle Chandler and his Aaron Rodgers hate. We'll get to that on Tuesday. Shout out to Uncle Chandler.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of shot for them too. And Larry, if you watching, Larry and the 18 people who watched the boxing last night is like, we'll slide some of that in on Tuesday as well.
He said 18 people. Well, you know what? Maybe it was 19. Maybe it was 19 because maybe they had it on two screens. You never know.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
But shout out to LG. We'll talk to these guys on the regular scheduled program, the boardroom on Tuesdays at every Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shameless plug, but boxing is real. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. You keep telling yourself, how was the gate? How was the gate for boxing? But now we're good.
What's up? What's up?
It's exactly, Coach. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you got to fly back to practice tomorrow, get on campus, get after these kids. I'm pretty sure they're going wild without Coach on campus. You know, you building a program, you're building legends, you're building the standard. But give us a plug as we get on out of here.
I mean, like I said, this was fun, guys. Like I would love to do more shows like this moving forward. It was such a big night last night. I feel like we had to do this without taking up time on the Tuesday night show, because then we'd have them, you know what I'm saying? We'd have them talking that, and but like, guys, like, I have my closeout for Tuesday, so I'm gonna say that for Tuesday. So my closeout for things like this would be like, you know what? That's the bottom line.
Right?
Black Zach said so. With everybody saying, yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. See you Tuesday.
Later, buddy.
Hey, Coach, thank you. Serious. You know what to do, bro. Thank you so
man.
much.
Yes, sir. Man, it's your boy Serious repping that 412 and the 703, man. I love being able to come into a space such as this and do what we do every week, man. Looking forward to doing more of these WWE shows with your villain, man. Who knew? There's a bunch of us in the Executives View family that loves wrestling, man. I always say this before I leave, man. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking and repping the show, man. We're on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X. We're on Spotify, so definitely check that out, man. Shout out to my friends over at Nonsense and Deep Thoughts Podcast for partnering with us, and we're doing big things with them. Villain and I are going to jump on a WWE show with them a couple weeks from now, so we're looking forward to partnering with those guys. My man Jared, Aaron, Corey, and all these guys, man. Shout out to everybody who's joined us in the chat. Again, if you like the show, share the show, man. We got a lot of stuff popping up in the next couple weeks. Villain, peace and hair grease, my guy. Holler at you next time, dog.
Absolutely, man. We got a lot of things cooking. Shout out to those guys. We're gonna do a WWE show with them. In the works, doing a Giants preseason. Kind of preview of the 2024 season with New York Giants fangirl Adriana Fola. So be on the lookout for that. Doing a lot of big things. All I can say to my main male LG is, you know what? It's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy holler at my name when last year I spent more money on spilt liquor in bars from one side of the world to the other than you made. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I had to do it, But shout out to LG. You talking to the Rolex where this is actually a Fossil Gen 6 Google Watch, but you know what I mean. Seriously, but shout out to those guys, man. We'll see you guys on Tuesday on the boardroom. I am the villain. I am so glad to do this show. I'm so excited to do more things like this. Just outside of our comfort zone, but just doing some other stuff, showing that we could do anything. We could talk any kind of sports. Hey, listen, I could sit here and talk about gymnastics, or I could talk about the badminton from the Olympics. We could do anything on this show. That's how we roll. So a lot more content is coming. We got a lot of plans this year. It's going to be a fun year. With that being said, thank you, peace and love. Y'all felt me today. You felt us. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon. Peace, 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 peace.